Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's online artist reception and art exhibit, The Poetry of Water, sponsored by Photo Art Pavilion. So very happy to have you with us tonight. I want you to be able to just sit back and enjoy the presentation. It's going to be pretty darn fabulous. As I mentioned, the exhibit tonight is sponsored by Photo Art Pavilion. I am one of the co-founders of Photo Art Pavilion, and my business partner, Jessica Lempin, will be jurying tonight's exhibit. You're going to love the art that has been going to be presented, and I think Jessica's done a fabulous job whittling down, I think, what was very tough selections that needed to be made. Photo Art Pavilion, we're a very positive community. We celebrate creativity through photography and the joy that brings art, the joy of art between the buyer and the collector and the artist. And that's basically what we do for a living. And we help you guys and gals bring your art to the forefront for others to enjoy. And that's been a passion of ours for quite a while. We're a woman-owned enterprise, and we have a small team around us that helps us move through doing the day-to-day tasks of curating the art that's on the platform, running these online receptions and exhibits, and doing many things that are surrounding art photography, which is something we really enjoy. We've been passionate in doing this type of work for you, the artist, and for the art collectors since 2007. So Photo Art Pavilion has been around for quite a while, and we've got a nice following, and we see we've got a nice group of folks on the meeting with us tonight, which is wonderful. The Poetry of Water. Oh, I just wanted to mention, just skipped over, Jessica's going to be joining us in a little while. She's going to take over the meeting once we're underway. But Jessica and I, we've been partners, as I said, since 2007. We really enjoy what it is that we do, and we work with photographers of all levels, whether you're a beginner or a real pro with the camera in hand. We're even working now with artists that deal exclusively with their iPhones or their Samsung mobile devices, which you're getting some really amazing artwork coming through in that vein as well. But just wanted to make sure I mentioned Jessica at this time. So the Poetry of Water. This was, I got to see the final selection that Jessica put forth. I know that she went through, I think, close to 200 entries, which had to be very difficult for her to break it down into the selection that you're going to see tonight. The collection truly is mesmerizing. The beauty of water can be very powerful, it can be very serene, can be very creative in nature. Nature on its own makes it creative, and also then the artist injects their elements of creativity into the final art piece. So I think that's going to be something really dynamic that you're going to take a look at very shortly. So I just want you to sit back and relax, get ready to explore with us, with me. I'm going to be seeing this presentation for the first time, and the artistry and the vision that these beautiful artists have put forth for us tonight. I think it's just going to blow our socks off, and just really looking forward to seeing it all. Jessica Lempin, she's going to take over the show in a little while. As I said, we've been business partners since 2007, working in art photography exclusively. That's our art medium. That's what we have learned, have studied, and have helped other art photographers bring forth their artistry to their audience, large and small. Jessica has been passionate about this. In fact, she's the one that got me hooked into art photography way back when. She's a talented artist, and I know she's going to really knock your socks off tonight with what she has to bring forward for this exhibit.
Thank you, Joanne. Thank you for the fantastic intro and bringing us up to now. I had a challenging yet deeply rewarding task of reviewing hundreds of submissions, well over 200, each uniquely expressing the beauty, power, and mystery of water. So narrowing down to the top 50 images was not easy whatsoever. In curating this exhibit, I sought to find works that stood out using light, their perspective and composition, just a few elements to really have the art stand out to me as the juror. So images that offered a fresh look at water's many forms, from tranquil ponds to rushing waterfalls to powerful seascapes. I wanted to present a variety that would resonate, including perspectives we don't often see, or at least I wouldn't see as a photographer going out into the field. And I wanted to include perspectives that we don't often see, creating a richer experience for all of us. So this collection is a testament to the talent and dedication to each photographer. And I hope you find yourself captivated by the stories and emotions that flow through each image. I do want to take a moment to also thank everyone who has participated in the open call. It really does take a bit of passion and energy to be able to put your art out there to be reviewed and judged in these open calls. And, you know, I think everyone is a winner, to be able to go through your art and be able to really find those pieces that work within specific themes. So I just want to take a moment who participated, but we do have narrowed down to the top 50 images. So for tonight's journey, as we walk through the Poetry of Water's top 50 images, I'm honored to share the final selections with you. All right, so now the art. First up is Island in the Fog. So this image is, I love the atmospheric conditions. So you have the fog, which is water within the sky, and the tranquil waters below. I love the perspective that's represented here as far as having that little detail element of the people in the kayak. It just brings this overall grandness to the scene itself. So I wanted to take a moment to say thank you for Sharon Strogas for being able to pull this out of your arsenal and be able to share it with us. Next up is Watership Down. Let's see. So this image, I love the vibrancy, the reflection that's within this scene. And the texture of the water adds an element that I like. It's not fully peaceful water, not still water, but you're getting that abstract motion within the piece itself. And this caught my eye just because obviously you know what it is, but at the same point, it is a different way to see the vessel itself. So thank you, Frank Sonoma, for your entry. So this one, this is Dream the Butterfly one. So this definitely stopped me in my curation process. It shows such a dynamic scene. You have, obviously, you're within the water itself. You're almost like one with this entity that is just floating through the water itself. You see the light coming through. There's just so much great motion. My eye kind of dances around the subject here that is just floating within this body of water. You know, I love the contrast between the light, the dark. It stopped me. So thank you, Yuchin Wan, for your entry. Here's another one. It's pretty interesting. Again, so as a art photographer, this is something I wouldn't think to do, which caught me. So this is Solace. The scene here, it looks like it could be 3 different scenes put together. It's a great composition. You have the dark lines of the tree line there, kind of pulls you in, but in that foreground, it just, that the contrast of the dark with the light, the ripples of the water against the calm waters beyond, and of course that hand just kind of holding that droplet. It's kind of interesting. It's a very interesting piece. So thank you, Kirill Polovuk. I hope I said that right. Thank you for your entry. This is definitely an interesting piece that you've put together. All right, the Dance of Bubbles. Now, as an art photographer, this is not something I would have took a moment to capture myself. I do appreciate the light that happens within this scene, the textures of the bubbles. You know, it's a different way to see the water, or at least see the interaction of water with air. And all right, so what I like is the motion of these bubbles. So as you can see in that bottom right corner, you have that little bit of like that shadow that kind of pulls your eye down, but then your eye moves on up to the blue, and that leading line, if you will, of bubbles was definitely interesting enough to have my eye move around the scene. as most of you know, you want your eye to be able to move around the scene and not get caught up in little elements. And to me, this was interesting and yet caught my eye because, again, it's something that I wouldn't normally see in the wild. So thank you, Katerina Steptanova. I appreciate your entry. All right, the power of water. That basically sums it up. I love this body of splash that took place. It's showing the energy behind the water itself. You know, it's floating through the air. You caught it just at the moment where the little drops are all kind of separated and they're floating. And I love seeing that motion with the water itself. You know, it's a very clean image as far as how it's captured here, but it definitely caught me, and I like the splash effect. So thank you, Tanea. Oh, geez, I am so sorry. I'm just gonna leave it there, Tanea. All right, moving forward, deluge. So this is such a great, clean, long exposure. I stopped here. I love the contrast between the shadows within the rock, the whites within the moving water. You know, you could see that it's a long exposure. You have those nice, smooth trails within the waterfall itself. There's just so much going on as far as the water, the fog. The fog again has little tiny micro drops, if you will, of water within it. So that atmospheric condition plays a part here. And, you know, to be able to take that moment and really create this capture, well done. Thank you, Leave Spiro. Thank you for your entry.
Lev Spiro, you're welcome.
Oh, Spiro, thank you, sorry. Rainy Morning Glory. So this is a scene that caught my eye. I love flowers, and to be able to have the raindrops or morning dew collecting on the heart of this flower, it really spoke to me, the vibrancy of the color. What I like too is that you didn't frame this in such a way that the lines of the petals go specifically perfectly within the corners. I like that they're kind of catty corner. This creates a little bit more flexibility within your leading lines, and I do appreciate that thought process that you had there. So thank you, Frank Sonoma, for this entry. Melt Falls, Isles of Skye, Scotland. So another beautiful black and white, long exposure. The contrast of your tones is fantastic in this scene. The milky waters, the texture of the rocks, the smooth, calm waters below. It's a very nice long exposure going on. And, you know, from up in that top corner, that top left corner, you actually see a little bit of a path. All of this just adds to that milky, soft look of the water itself, and also just the beyond. This definitely caught my eye, and thank you, Andy. Oh, geez, I feel like I always have this issue, Andy. I do apologize, Ilanishki. Thank you so much for your entry. All right, Island in the Fog. So what I loved about this was the pure reflection within this scene. You have the mountains represented really nicely. I love how dark the water is. The water reflection is reflecting those mountains, the tree lines, everything. This definitely caught my eye as far as showing the stillness, the purity of this water, and just really capturing the overall scene. So thank you, Sharon Strugus, for your entry. Celt Abstract 1. So this was a very interesting capture for me to be able to witness and see and to be able to select into this exhibit. I love the shades that are happening within the water. So it's a matter of how the light is breaking down into the water itself, how the kelp is moving within this frame, how you cropped this scene to be a vertical panoramic. Again, very interesting as far as that visual process of seeing the image itself. And it's, you know, it's a peaceful scene showing the kelp just floating through the water itself. And I like the contrast of the plant, the nature within the water. So thank you, Greg, Maggie, for this entry. The pool. All right, so another clean, long exposure in black and white. I love seeing how angry those waters are within the waterfall itself, but yet how calm and soothing the pool of water is. And to be able to see the contrast of the two, it's a juxtaposition within the frame itself of the type of water that is being represented here. I also like seeing how it is a overcast day. With the long exposure, you can see that movement within the sky. Clouds, again, are actual water. It's water particles up in that air. And well done. I love the contrast between the light and the dark within this frame. So thank you, Leave Spiro. Spiro? I'm so sorry. Okay, flower boats. So life on the water. There's something magical about this, at least from looking at it in this perspective. If you're down on the ground, you don't see that beauty within the life on the water for this community here. So being able to see how the water plays a part is poetic. It's life or death, basically. And you have these little canoes or vessels being all tied up, and they do create this beautiful little flower pattern. So seeing that and the life on the water is rather interesting. I like your placement. Obviously, it's going to be like a drone shot that was able to capture this perspective. At least that's what I think it is. And to be able to see how you frame this and how you're able to really have that interest kind of flow in from both bottom corners, your leading lines into the center there, the heart of the scene, and seeing those flower patterns. So thank you, Joy, Sasha, sorry. Thank you so much for your entry. All right, liquid light. This is something that I do love. I love the abstracts, the natural, nature-based abstracts that you can stumble upon when you're getting into the wild there. And to be able to see this, the lights, the darks, the little pops, it looks like it could be a sunrise, sunset happening with the nice golden tones. To be able to see that and really have your eye just kind of move through this abstract. It's a very well captured scene. And again, to have that more of a vertical scene versus a horizontal, I think changes your perspective and how it's viewed. So I want to take a moment to say thank you, Anthony Graziano, for your entry. All right. So back to life on the water, life in the water. This was an interesting scene to me. It did catch my attention just for the fact that it was different within the pool of entries that we received. It really shows the way that life is in this area, how you're in the water, you're constantly working in it, and life is, water is life within this. So that does add a little bit more of that poetic stance within the theme of the exhibit. There's just so much happening in here, by seeing the different people. And I love that it's more so of a silhouette of the folks that are here in the water versus, a full, bright, clean shot. So having this done within a foggy overcast really is something. I like how the atmospheric conditions really play into this. So thank you, Joy, Saha, for your entries in this. All right, so currents. Being that, I am a person who lives on the coast, I love seeing, ICM within the beach realm. So being able to have those longer shutter speeds and creating that dreamlike effect happening. I love this scene. I do like how the wave is breaking over to the right hand of the frame, and you're kind of the leading line of that water breaking down at the bottom, kind of pulls you in as the water is moving out. I do like this. It's a little bit different compared to some of the other ones that we've had enter. So Danielle Lavota for your entry. All right, so this one is Koi and Branches. So this is a multi-exposure scene. I love the abstract feel of it, but yet that you're looking into a pool of water here. You have the koi fish being represented. They're living within the water. You have branches that are, I'm assuming, over the water, and the two just enter into such an interesting look and feel. And I love that texture overlay added to the scene. It just adds a different dynamic, and also the lighting in it itself, basically darkening those sides, pulling your attention in. There's a lot happening here, and I like how it flows and feels within the scene itself. So thank you, Dawn Riley, for your entry. All right, Niagara Blur. So again, love the slow motion when it comes to fast moving waters. I like this scene, how it was framed to have a vertical. Again, most people go to Niagara Falls and you're shooting a, landscape, a horizontal scene and getting it all in, but this is such a nice abstract capture. I'm loving the darker hues and slower tones, or a little bit more controlled light within that bottom corner, where you have the softer flow of water right up above. It's a nice contrast going on within the scene. There's a lot of motion happening and a lot of different hues happening within the scene. So thank you, Ellis Brandon, for your scene, for your entry. All right, crown splash. As a photographer, I have not done this. I have not played around with water droplets and coloring them and getting into it. And I absolutely admired the detail within the splash itself. There's just a lot happening visually that my eyes bounced around, from the lights, the hues that are being represented here. I love how the crown has this like goldish tone to it all around. It's a very interesting capture, and it definitely caught my eye. And it's something that I have. It's awesome. Love the green. All right, thank you, Nicole Mordecai, for your entry. All right, Jellyfish 3. So this scene was interesting to see how the jellyfish are being represented in here. They, jellyfish live in the water, it's within, and they flow effortlessly throughout the body of water. And I do like how the jellyfish kind of play around and do this dance. And, to start up in that top corner and work your way down was quite interesting. I feel like most people will probably like reverse it upwards so that it's almost like they're flowing up. So it caught my eye. I love the contrast of the colors and what's going on within the scene itself. So thank you, Marianne Holmes, for your entry. All right. Again, it's the long shutter speed in this. It's Deep Glow is the title of this piece. This is just a stunning ICM capture where you're doing the longer shutter. You're really focusing on that crest of the wave, the light, the colors, the simplicity of it all is quite fantastic, in my opinion. I'm loving how if you look beyond the crest, you see the light waves going through, the lighter tones of the water going through, the darker tones coming in the front. There's just a lot of motion happening, and it definitely caught my eye. So thank you, Michael O'Connor, for your entry. Backledge Falls, Up Close and Sepia. So again, using long exposure or long shutter, that dynamic element to the water itself. So this is obviously you're zoomed into the waterfall, and it's the contrast of the hard of the rocks with the soft of the water, but yet the water is still very angry, and slowing down that motion creates that nice soft appearance against the rocks. So I want to take a moment to say thank you, Stephen Danielson, for your entry. All right, Water Sprite 1. So this scene stopped me. I kept going back and forth, but obviously the main focus is not the water, but it's life in and around the water. So I love how the little girl in the front kind of pulls you into the scene. She is running through this shallow body of water. But then as you kind of go into the scene itself, you see all the different ways that people are interacting with the water. So in the back, you have it's like little boys playing with like a hose and so on. And it's a very interesting way to see the water, the softness, where it's calm, the reflections that are happening, and of course, the interaction that the little girl is having with this water with the splash. So this caught my eye, and I want to take a moment to thank Nathan Milford for your entry. Crimson Prism. So again, with the reflections of the water, this stopped me. I'm liking how the water was a little bit more as far as with the motion going on. It adds an element of texture within the scene. And it also shows you what is happening above and outside of that water, that body of water. And to see these trees and full foliage happening, it just adds this vibrancy to the scene itself. I love that little picket fence at the bottom corner. And there's just these little details once you start really digging in that you can kind of break apart the abstract. So thank you, Faust, for your entry. All right. Venting the light. This is a very thought-provoked scene as far as creating that what it is that you want to create, putting it together, and then frame after frame trying to get that shot. So this is something that I have not played around with. It caught my eye. I love the stark contrast between the white and the blue and the glass that you used and the curves, the light within the glass. It's a very interesting scene. And something that, again, I haven't exposed myself to, but I do love and appreciate the time and energy that it took to make this. So thank you, Nicole Mordecai, sorry, for your entry. Well done. All right, staying the course. So this is a very interesting scene. You have what looks like a body of water surrounding that glass piece, and you have a bridge within that, and the way that this is captured with the birds, and it looks like some atmospheric condition happening, a little bit of fog going on. It's a very interesting and poetic piece to have within the exhibit. It stood out compared to all the other entries, and it definitely took a moment to really put this together and really create that idea. And I want to take a moment to thank Cheryl Bomba for your time and energy into this. All right, Tahoe Gold. Loving the abstract found within nature. You have this beautiful gold and blue hued water, and to see the different textures going through, it's really a nice soft piece. And it did catch my eye just because of how clean it is and the tones itself. So well done. Thank you, Kathy Metz, for your entry. All right, next is On a Summer Day. Love in black and whites. That is my niche, so it caught my eye. I'm loving how the drops are seen here. You have your main subject, which is that larger drop, and it's actually backlit with the, I don't know why this being drawn on there. It's being basically enhanced with that darker body going on, that darker shadow. And I love how you can see the path it took, the dots, the lights, everything that's taken place within this scene. And of course, that you had it converted to black and white, it just simplifies this moment in time. So I want to take a moment to thank John Dibhouse for your entry. Next is Ocean Splatter. So this is such a great moment, getting down low, getting that unique perspective, the force of the waves itself coming up onto that shore and creating that little bit of a splash, and really getting down low to make it a little bit more enhanced. It's definitely a unique perspective, doing something a little bit different. That dark shadow in that bottom right corner, I like how it just kind of pulls you up into the splash itself. So I want to take a moment to thank Melissa Mileo on this piece. Next is Water Dragon, Lake 22, Mount Baker, Snoqualmie, NF, Washington. So big title. I wanted to have an element of ice within this scene, within this exhibit. And this was interesting to be able to have the different lines coming through to show the ice itself really, truly standing out. You could see the life underneath the water opposed to the life above the water, the frost, the ice. It's a different way to see it. And, going out and shooting, this is not something I would have stopped at, but for this exhibit, it caught my eye. So thank you, Walter, for your entry. Interesting take, interesting perspective. So here you have a scene that has It's a waterscape, and then over it is more of a almost like a water cell structure. That's how I take it, being added over to the scene itself. And again, it was just a very interesting way to combine the two worlds or create this overall composition. I do appreciate the time and energy that it took to put this together. And it almost looks like individual little circles at the bottom or actual water spots. It's very interesting. The more you look at it, the more it comes through. So I want to take a moment to thank Cheryl Bomba for your time and energy into this. All right, big wave. So the Poetry of Water exhibit, what is it without having these massive, crazy, powerful waves? So for this definitely caught my eye. Having that force, that momentum of such an angry sea. I love how the water, the way, well, let me backtrack. The way it's framed, I love how the leading line from that bottom right corner looking up into the scene itself just kind of pulls you up and into that part of that curl of the wave itself, and then from there the wind swept water up and over. So there's just so much happening within this that shows the force of water with the wind. So thank you, Greg, Maggie, for your entry. All right, next is Wake in Maine. So I like this scene just for the fact that it shows the peace, the calm, and the force that the boat creates this momentum, and then that wake. It's just a clean wake capture. And to be able to show that difference and how one little object within the water can create such a change within the top layer of the water. So water being moved, water in stationary, and then into the flow. So I just want to take a moment to thank Dave Johns for your entry in this. All right. So again, with that power, that rush of the energy in that water, and to be able to show the perspective of how grand the scene is and how grand that sea is in that area. You have on the rocks there a person fishing, and you can see how vast these waves are and how gigantic they are. And it really shows the power of the water. So this is dedicated fishermen, truly is dedicated. I want to take a moment to thank Ralph Blessing for your entry in this. All right. Another ICM capture. Now, this just stopped me. Where the scene is framed, to have that contrast of the breaking waters, which is that white water, and then the nice soft flow of the gold and blue hues. This is a really well done ICM capture as far as your contrast, the juxtaposition as far as the angry white waters versus the calm, soft golden waters. So this caught my eye. This is Duckabush Rapids, and this was taken by Vince Barnes. So thank you so much for your entry. Oh, sorry. All right, next is Dark Blue Bubbles. So unique perspective, not something I would have typically captured, which is why it kind of stopped me. So I like that it wasn't converted to black and white. I feel like this is one of those scenes that could easily have been converted, but to have it in that blue hue makes it a little bit more of the monochromatic, but in blue tones. And I like that aspect. I like how the white waters in that bottom corner aren't exactly within that corner there to pull you in for that leading line. And then from there, you're all of a sudden in this ring of bubbles. And it's just an interesting flow, and it shows the dynamic of the water and mixture with air. So thank you, Noreen Bartone, for your entry. Next is Redwood Sunburst. So this shows more of the atmospheric condition. So water within the sky and the element, and creating that fog, and to be able to show the light bursting through the fog itself. So definitely interesting take on the poetry of water, and to be able to show a different way of really featuring water, not on the ground, but up in that sky. So thank you, Roger Archibald, for your unique perspective. Let's see, is it going? I do apologize. Nope, I want to go this way. So sorry. Okay. Next is Yellowstone Pool. So unique perspective as far as being up in the air and then, or at least up and then looking on down into that pool of water, and to see the differences of the land around the body of water. You have the leading line to the left of that little piece of wood that points you into the actual pool of water, and to show water that is not clear. So I thought that was a very interesting take, as far as having water being featured as your main subject. So thank you, Gwendoline Arine. So this is tranquility, and seeing that calm body of water, the beautiful scenery beyond, and then that fog coming through. So again, having that atmospheric condition, adding into the overall scene, also showing you water within a different way. And this is such a clean capture. So thank you, Andy. Oh, geez, I'm so sorry. Linitsky. Sorry, Andy. All right, next is Iceberg in Afterglow. So to see ice, to see the calm water and the ice beyond, there's just so much kind of happening here. I'm loving atmospheric condition again. You have that morning fog lifting up and off that water. It adds that softness to the background. You have the beautiful lights happening on the foreground in that nice calm waters. And then you have that sharp edge of your iceberg going on. You know, the sharp crispness of the ledge here, the face of the iceberg. It's just, there's a lot happening, and I like the scene itself and the within it. It really stood out to me. So thank you, Sandra Horrocks, for your entry. Next is Cool Pool Fountain. So again, something that I would not have stopped and captured, but the overlay of the body of water with the sprinkles, like the fountain part coming up with the bubbles and stopping it, but not crisply stopping it. There's definitely an element of abstract going on, which I liked, and it definitely caught my eye. Also not converted this to black and white, keeping those blue tones going on, adds to the overall flow of the scene. So thank you, Jack Calandra, for your entry. Canyon Beach Sunset Reflection. So this is definitely a spot I want to go to. It's on my bucket list. But anyway, loving the reflections, that calmness of the water just lightly over the sand and creating this mirror image. Absolutely love the silhouettes of the land masses coming up. You have fog coming through. You have the grand scale and perspective, having the people standing within that, the wet sand, almost like they're within the water, the sea itself. There's a lot going on. Loving the sunrise here. I'm sorry, sunset, and being able to really see this overall scene, the clouds, everything. It's well done. So thank you, Alyssa Brandon, for your entry. All right, Morning Mood. So very unique and interesting scene. Yes, the surfer is the main focus here, but I was just kind of stopped. So to have this perspective being most likely within the water and looking beyond and seeing a surfer just barely coming out of that water, it just really, to me, had this moment of claustrophobia going on. And, you know, being that this is the poetry of water and evoking emotion, to me, this just overwhelms me. I've been in this moment being in the water and a little freaked out, but I'm loving how the sun, the light, the grittiness of this, there's a lot going on the more you look into the scene. The bottom left corner keeps catching my eye, but at the same point, your focus stands out a little bit stronger. There's also like a hexagon going on around the surfer. It's just, there's a lot happening, and it's a very interesting perspective. And again, something I would not have seen and been able to share with you. So thank you so much, Rob Hauer, for being able to be in the water and taking this capture. So thank you again for your entry. All right, Ice Cave, Iceland. Oh my goodness. Such an amazing scene happening here. You have the mountains all the way through that are covered in snow. Almost creates like this almost like a water like effect out there, even though you know it's mountains. And then having this ice just curving up and around. You have the shininess and the reflectiveness of the cave itself. You have the icicles coming down, you have snow going on. There's so much going on. The lighting in here is well done. You handled the exposure going out while also remaining your details within the shadows of the cave itself. Again, there's a lot happening. My eye just wants to bounce all around and follow the cave, the curve of the cave. This definitely caught my eye. So thank you, Nicole Esposito, for your entry. All right, floodwaters. So showing the power and the momentum of water. This caught me just for the fact that water being calming and soothing can also be a force of destruction. And to see that stopped me more so just for the fact of showing the sheer power of it, how close the waters are right against the homes, while also showing you how it's going through and cutting through these trees and stuff. It's a different perspective from what I normally seen. And I want to take a moment to thank Shane Diggity for your entry. All right, end of the rainbow. A lot happening here. So you have the rough waters of the waterfall going on. You have the waters falling from the waterfall, and then you have this beautiful rainbow, and it all is atmospheric conditions happening within this little moment of time. And to see the perspective of the people in the boat, it's a nice capture and a nice moment. So thank you, John Doyle, for sharing your moment with us. All right, reflections. So this is something I walk past all the time. I don't capture it. It's the reflections of the trees while also seeing the leaves that have fallen off the trees within the water, and everything kind of happens around this body of water. I'm liking how it's a nice like curvy line happening where the trees are versus where the leaves are. And it's such a good juxtaposition, having the two worlds. So you have the life of the trees growing versus the death of the leaves. Again, just the poetry of the water, and it all happens within and around the water. So thank you, Mary Constane, for your entry. All right. Now this one is titled Golden. Nice, looks like sunset, I'm assuming sunset, and the light just hitting the crest of the wave as the wave is falling down. You have the leading lines of that right corner pulling you up and through and all around. There's a perfect little cloud happening in that distance in the right-hand frame. There's just a lot going on. It caught my eye. I love the beauty and the simplicity of the scene while also having that moment of force. So thank you, Megan Clifford, for your entry. So life within the water. You have the sun rays coming through that creates this beautiful backdrop, and to have the photographer within the water and photographing the whale. So this is titled Humpback Whale with Baby, and oh my goodness, it puts life in such a unique perspective that stopped me. So again, life within the water, being in the water with a humpback whale and its baby. It's just a unique and different perspective. And it definitely stopped me, and it was very interesting. So thank you, Bruce Campbell, for your entry in this. And what an epic moment, by the way. But okay, moving on. Silky smooth water flow. So this is such a nice, clean waterfall capture. So a nice long exposure, creating that nice milky waters falling down the rocks. You have a juxtaposition happening with the hardness, that darkness of the rocks against the light and the softness of the water. The way it's framed is a very nice capture. I like that rock that jets out in the bottom right corner. It just adds a little bit more of that contrast going on within the scene itself, and your eye just basically falls down the waterfall. So this is titled Silky Smooth Water Flow, and that's by Jack Calandra. Thank you, Jack. Oh, so we went through all the 50. I hope you guys enjoyed this up to this time. All right, so without further ado, we're all here to see who has made the top 3 and an honorable mention. So, all right, moving forward. We have the honorable mention, which goes to, oh, Joanne, did you want to jump in and say anything? So sorry.
Hey, everybody. Great job, Jess. I'm really looking forward to see how you separate all of those wonderful entries into awards. Some of them are just amazing, mind-blowing artistry. But I'm gonna let you continue. You're doing a fabulous job. Keep going.
All right. So honorable mention, drum roll. It goes to Iceberg and Afterglow by Sandra Hartz. And again, there's just so much happening within this scene as far as water being the main subject. You have water in a hard form, water in a air form, and water in the body of water. And to me, the colors, the beauty that happens within this, it stopped me. It stood out in the overall. Thank you, Sandra, for your entry. Sandra, if you're with us, do you mind taking a moment to share a little bit about this scene? Hopefully you're with us.
Let me see if Sandra's there. Yes, Sandra's on. I'm going to ask her to unmute. If she wouldn't mind saying a few words.
Here I am. I couldn't get unmuted for a second. Sorry.
Okay.
I hope that this doesn't get too messed up in the voice because I live in a very remote area and that happens. So this is in Greenland off of Ilulissat, which is where they bring all of the big tour ships into. I was on a photo tour called the Red Sails, and we're on sailboats with red sails, hand holding everything and moving all over the place. So I'm so proud when I see something that looks halfway sharp. And this was not in the morning, it was in the evening. We would leave at 6 in the afternoon or in the evening and go out until about 11 with all our heavy duty cold weather and rain gear on. It was toward the end of the summer. And the icebergs in Ilulissat are the ones that would be as large as the ones that sank the Titanic. So this is just an end of one of them. And we're just floating there looking at it. So, but thank you very much.
No problem. Congratulations. This is definitely an interesting scene. And thank you for adding the details behind this moment. It just adds to the overall scene. So thank you. All right, next. So sorry. Okay. Third place goes to Solace. This is such an interesting, definitely see if Carol's with us. Such an interesting capture, and then to be able to add these different elements together to create this overall composition. I just thought it was such an interesting, unique way to be able to share the water itself. And, you know, it's almost like you're giving us this magical moment with the hand. Is Carol with us?
I'm not seeing Carol in
Okay.
the...
If you're with us, feel free to unmute and jump on in.
Some people are just listed as iPhone, so I'm not sure.
Okay. So I take it that he's not with us. But I want to take a moment to thank you and congratulations.
Yeah, very, very creative. Very nice.
Very creative. All right, moving on. So now we have second place. Ready? So ready? All right, let's go. Next is Crown Splash. So with this, it was all about those details, all about that sharpness, that vibrancy that's going on within here. You know, to be able to have that green emerald background and body, and then to be able to have gold within the crown itself, it just blew me away. You know, being able to stop time just like this and having that sharpness of that splash, that crown, it was really mesmerizing for me, and I'm in awe. So thank you, Nicole
Mordecai.
Wow, thank you. So if you don't mind, could you share just a little bit behind the scenes with this? And how many
Sure.
takes
I
did you
actually,
need to get this? Because
well, I
recorded.
took this photo, it was a photo workshop at the Edgerton Center at MIT. That Edgerton is kind of the one that pioneered this whole extremely fast using strobe lights to capture things like this. And we had the opportunity to photograph a whole number of different things, not only water splashes there. And it was just so fun. They just like put us in a room with the strobes and we could color the water and experiment with the different, you know, you could, because how quickly the water droplets come down makes a difference in how high the splash is and things like that. So it was a really exciting experience working with the strobe lights.
Excellent. Oh my goodness. And you really have such a stunning piece to walk away with. And thank you for taking that moment and seeing the open call and putting the two together. So
Yeah, thank you.
thank you. Well done. All right. First place. Good. Dream the butterfly one.
Bravo.
So being that the exhibit is the poetry of the movement of this is by Yu-Chin Wang. The movement, the flow, the abstractness, there's just so much going on that I thought was the true fit for the Poetry of Water exhibit. And I have chills. There's just something magical about this and dreamlike. And it stopped me. And I hope everyone else kind of sees where I'm going with this thought and having this as first place. So Yu-Chin, if you're with us, would you be able to just chime in and give us a little bit of a background on this? I don't know if you're with us tonight.
I don't see him with her. I don't see him with us.
Oh, it's such a shame.
I thought he might have left early.
Um,
Thought he was here.
This is definitely one of those scenes I would love to know the background, how to get the thought process behind this, what took place, like, the thoughts and energy behind it. But my goodness, this definitely caught my attention and my eye. And I just want to thank them
Looks
for,
like might be like multiple exposures, it looks like to me.
it could be,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was pretty wild.
Interesting. And again, something that I would not stop to think about and put together, and that too adds to the beauty of it, because as an art photographer, it's just something that is just not within my realm, and I'm just so appreciative to see this.
Yeah,
And I
very cool.
hope everyone else enjoy it. And oh my goodness, I just want to take a moment. Thank you everyone for your participation. I mean, there's just so much happening all around. All right, so wait, there's more. All art is available for purchase. Contact Photo Art Pavilion for further details. You give us a call, send us an email. If you have any questions, you can also send me an email too at hello@photoartpavilion. If you wanted any more feedback on your art, I'm here. I don't mind chatting with you. All right, moving forward. One more thing. So our next open call is an extension of this subject, and it's icy elegance. So now the focus is ice and all the different ways that the beauty of ice can be represented. Excellent. Me too. All right, so congratulations to everybody. So thank you for all the photographic artists who have entered the open call, along with everyone who has joined us tonight, whether you're a fellow art lover, photographer, and so on. Just the beauty and being able to watch and explore the art with us. Thank you so much tonight. We hope that you enjoyed viewing the beautiful selections of art and tonight's conversation.
Yeah, very cool.
So
Looking forward to Icy Elegance and seeing you all at the next open call. And Jessica and I thank you so much for being with us. We really do appreciate you spending time with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.